We love horror movies, man. Horror movies are our life. You know, there's some horror goons.
I'm Zano Da Vinci.
Your boy ATX and Space Vikings.
Slow key as me.
Trying to figure shit out. This changed my life forever.
Yes. Hello, everyone. We're Guts Podcast,
Hello.
and let's have a hand for the film. It was fantastic,
Yeah,
right?
round of applause for Caroline Williams.
Ow! Ow! And we're here with the lovely Caroline Williams, who has been gracious enough to bless us all with her presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I go that far. Are we on?
Oh, we're on. You just got to hold
We're
closer.
on. You just got to go this way.
Yeah.
I want so much to thank Barbara for offering her beautiful theater
Yes.
and her menu and her very gracious and skilled cast of staff to invite us here, because it's really a joy to have a work of art inside a work of art.
Yeah. And what a killer film.
Yes.
Killer
Rock and
film.
roll.
Yeah.
Am
I
I
mean,
talking?
if y'all don't know, we've been waiting to see this film for 2 days.
Yes.
We've been waiting to see it for months, but we got our fire put out last night and just added to the anticipation, and I could tell you, like,
Totally lived up to
I
it.
mean, killed
waiting
it.
on that.
Yeah. Especially for me, I'm a big vampire fan, and it just killer.
Yes.
Rock
definitely.
and roll, man. As soon as she bit into that tampon, I was like, oh yeah.
Ah, yeah.
No, this is it.
It's a
Yeah.
party, baby.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
one
a
thing I've
party.
never seen in a horror movie or any movie was a nice bite out of a tampon. So
I know, right?
I haven't seen that either. And the first thing that came into my head was, oh my God, people are eating dinner.
I know. It was perfect timing. Yeah.
I am so sorry. Just so you know, it was made out of gummy worms.
Now, and I was about to ask you what that was actually made out of for you chewing it like that.
We had the most incredible crew.
Yes.
So everyone was so highly skilled. Everybody was on their game. And our prop lady, art director, said, okay, this is made out of gummy worms. All the trash in the trash can is very clean. And the psychology isn't there. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
you know?
definitely.
So it kind of had everything for me. Of course, I'm a big vampire fan, but set and setting as far as lighting, keep it dark. You never know what's behind you.
Yes.
I mean, so tell us about the guy that wrote this thing and directed it. He's like some young hotshot that's killing it in the game. What's his name? And tell us how you came across this role, and like, how did it become so perfect? Because it's a work of art.
Thank you so much. Strangely enough, it came to me through another horror actress of great renown, Barbara Crampton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Despite the Real Housewives dynamic of the women in the movie, Barbara very generously handed this script over to me because she couldn't do it. And it was written by a couple of young brothers in their 20s up in Connecticut. And they wrote a story specifically for a woman my age in the entertainment business.
Nice.
And
You don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
In movies and stuff, they don't write for a character that's older. And I thought it was just fantastic how it was really cool because you were a DJ again.
Yes.
And we know you were the iconic Stretch.
I was getting
So
those vibes.
to have Stretch, not necessarily Stretch, but that similar thing maybe. But now instead of the young hot DJ, there's a different time in your life, and I thought that was just so cool how they did that.
well, it provides a lot of meta moments. But for me in my real life, I had kind of been out of the game for a while and thought to myself, if I want to be relevant and come back in the business, I got to make a lot of changes for myself. And I lost a lot of weight because, I've got 2 kids, married 22 years. You know how that happens. And I thought, I really want to try to kind of reinvent myself. And that's, in a way, what the movie is about. It's about rebirth, but not in the way you think you're going to be reborn with teeth.
I like the fact that you, when you walked into the office, when you walked into the studio, and you knew that you were about to be that replacement. Nobody likes to go to work that day not knowing it's going to be my last day, especially when other workers know you've been fired. So when you put us in that element, I was like, you know what, I feel that, being the older guy getting replaced or the older woman getting replaced by like a newer model, basically, and knowing what she had to go through to get that, and she was lying to you. So when you put those action on us, like them facial expression changed, I was like, bite her ass. I wanted you just to attack her, but I got deep into it, and like I was saying about the burn part, I was trying to figure out, like, because you say you was wanting to do more involvement, like in the action part and doing the thing, and when you put your face onto that burner, I love that part. That's one of my favorite parts in there. Yeah, because I just want to see. I was like, oh man, she's just like taking her whole face off.
Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves is like melted skin.
Yeah, man.
Like there's just something about, I guess something happened to me in my childhood or something like, but whenever I see melted skin on hot surfaces, and especially it's the peel away.
The comeback, yes, definitely.
It really, really gets to me, yeah.
Well, it's sort of a fever dream kind of, she enters this alternate reality, basically, as she starts to kind of deconstruct as a vampire. Mm-hmm. What I loved about that sequence is we got to fight, and I got to throw a glass, and I got to slam my head down on a hot glass oven, and we worked it with a stuntman, and we had a big pad, and it's really kind of a very sophisticated editing job, more than anything else. And I like that kind of stuff. I love action. I love playing characters that are physical. And it's the great thing about horror, and especially horror now, Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back. Yeah. Barbara Crampton's coming back. All of us who were 80s horror gals, we're finding great opportunities, and they haven't skimped on the action. They're letting us run and jump and play, and I love that. That's my favorite.
That whole descent into, like, you turning into the bed, like taking the callers. Oh, yeah, next! Yeah. That, to me, I was like, this is awesome, dude. Like, and then went from that, and then you just turned, you were brilliant in that and I heard someone behind me go, oh. Yeah. And how is it, how do you get into like a headspace to do that? To just scream like that? Like, even right now, like talking in front of these people, I'm like, these people are looking at me. Like,
because you have a green braided beard.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It's definitely the beard.
That's what I like about you, actually.
He acts like if he wasn't on stage, people wouldn't be staring at him. Jesus.
I was either held too much or not enough.
He's a walking cartoon.
Don't know
what do you
one.
Expect? Yeah.
Hold me. Okay.
It was the enthusiasm for the role. The very fact that I lucked into the part like I did from another incredible actress, and I just wanted to get it right. I'm in nearly every scene of the film, and I wanted to get it right every single moment. And it was a very, very demanding shoot. We were 12 hours a day in a fully operating radio station. So from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m., we were vampires. I mean, we really were. We were living at night. And I relish that. That's an alternate reality for me, because everybody goes to bed at 10 and you get up and you do your day. This was like, it was, it just knocked me completely off my circadian rhythm. So yeah, I was so thrilled.
I think what shows in this film, and kind of shows in your performance also, like, being a creative person, acting is so weird to me. I don't understand how you do that. It seems impossible, And the thing that it only seems impossible after the fact, because if you're doing it right, you don't think about it. If you're doing it right, you're in the movie, you're in the moment. You're not thinking that's Caroline Williams acting on stage. You're thinking, hey, that's Amy on the, So after the fact, it's it's one of those things where it goes unappreciated because if you're doing it right, you don't notice it, right? So how did you start acting, and what made you want to like kind of express yourself in that way? And do you find satisfaction in, you know, killing it every time, or is it one of those things where you go home at the end of the day and you're like, I did it today, or is it a big anticipation ball until the movie comes out? You know, there has to be some type of creative outlet and satisfaction everywhere in that process. Do you still love it, and what made you get into it, and how did you get into it?
Well, I mean, every human being is an actor. Every single human being is an actor. Our whole society is dependent on that. You have to pretend that you like people that you really can't stand.
Facts.
You know, and, you know, we have our families, and then we have our families of friends, and those are different dynamics. And, you know, I started out as a singer in Texas here, you know, and I just always loved expressing. I love the make-believe. I love the pretend. You know, I love just getting kind of lost in those little stories and things like that. And so when I started trying acting classes and doing stuff, it took off pretty quick, you know, and I love it more today than I ever have because, you know, like Amy, a part of my life has ended. You know, I'm not married anymore. My kids are grown. And I thought, instead of feeling bad about those losses, I thought to myself, wow, this is a real chance to get back in the game and see if there is anything out there for a woman my age, you know? And there is. And I just want to do more of this. The big thing now is waiting to see what happens. And the movie comes out January 19th on all platforms. You won't be able to get away from this damn movie, guys.
Yeah.
But that's when the business elements kick in, and that's when all that happens.
So are the business elements like a thing that completely turns you off about the process? Because I know with a lot of creative people, they need a yang to their yin. You know what I'm saying? So like with a painter, they need a business person, and a lot of people, I know a couple of painters that they can't stand talking about money, and they can't stand talking about, you know, budgets and stuff like that. Is that something that turns you off about the movie making process, or is that something that you're kind of into also? Are you into the movie business, or is it strictly on the screen behind the camera type of thing for you?
Because the business and technology and streaming and the various content providers have just exponentially exploded, this is a better time than any, even if you're a casual investor, and you can ask Barbara about this. It can provide an alternate revenue stream that basically goes on forever. I still get residuals on movies I did in the 80s. You know, because I'm older and I'm smarter, I see clearly the opportunities for aggregating my own budgets, affiliating with other creatives, and coming up with projects of my own so that I'm in the revenue stream. And I also have an option to perform in something that's challenging and fun and great, and you kind of get to be the captain of your own ship. That whole studio system has it's morphed into maybe the big 5 agencies, and they do resorts, and they do sports, and they do games, and they do music, and they do a million different things. So if you're the casual, smaller investor, you know, the sweet spot for most film investment right now is a $2 million budget. Cinestate here in Dallas does, you know, they've done some phenomenal films, Dragged Across Concrete, Bone Tomahawk, Brawl in Cell Block 99, the stuff with Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. Those are popular films and they're money makers. And he has recouped his investment many times over. And Blumhouse. They have the very same business model. So I'm looking at that.
Yeah.
I get it's to me like to reiterate on what Low Key was saying, to bring like the anticipation of, because for us you always stretch, you know. So it's like when you look at it, but you put Stretch in the pocket in this movie. So for people to come to get to know Caroline Williams is you coming in a new element of, oh, this is a whole nother role for you. And the vampire and this whole scenes of conflict, like when you switched it on everybody, like when it went back from, I was like, hold up, am I tripping? You know, I was like, okay, what the hell happened to Ernie? And what the hell is, like,
Yeah.
what's going on? But then I was like, and then, you know, like you said, it's the psychological. And when I watch psychological movies, everybody have their own outtake on it.
Exactly.
So now is the time for people to like, this is the new Caroline. Until you introduce them to Stretch. You know, for me as a horror fan and watching it, so I know with you, it's the anticipation of, this is me now, and this is what I could do, and let's go forward. And I started in the movie. So, and you know, I love vampire. I love the blood, all the gore. You know, I'm looking at all the kills and stuff. So, for me, it's like you introducing yourself. You reevaluate. You bring yourself back onto the stage, and I think you did a great job. So,
Thank you,
I know
Dana.
I know you're anticipating the release. Like it's like you say, an artist that day is on your mind. But you know, for us, we always gonna help you out. You got fans that's gonna help you out, and welcome to the new biz, man. It's, you know.
Thank you.
And I don't think it's something that's not warranted. So as he was saying that, I was thinking to myself, okay, you could be given all the chances in the world, and
Yeah.
you could be given all the roles in the world. It doesn't matter. Can you hit the ball when it's pitched? You know, and I really think you knocked it out of the park. I'm really impressed. I really am. I mean, because I've spent 2 days with you, and it's weird hanging out with somebody, you know, and they're just, hey, it's Caroline, you know, you want to get something to eat? She texted whatever. And
I know.
then you
Are
see
you
her-
kidding me? Do you know how many times I watched this woman, like, in the puberty years?
The Daisy Dukes.
I mean,
Don't go too far.
I'm
Don't
trying.
go
I'm
too
trying
far.
not to make it weird. Try not to make
Easy,
it
big
weird.
fella.
Try not to make it weird. But in my
Easy.
head, I'm like, she's talking to me.
Yeah.
And to watch you on stage, but you just killed it, man.
Yeah. Killer.
It was such a badass movie. And I loved that transition when you came back and the characters were different. You know, they were the same but different. And that music was playing backwards. And I caught
And
that.
you caught that,
I
and
said-
so many people do not catch it.
You know, we're very music oriented and stuff, and the soundtrack was awesome. The soundtrack was phenomenal, and especially like when you bit, you know, your brand new co-host on the hand, and then it started up to that, and I was like, yes.
You went too far. It's a band called Bury Your Dead, and the drummer and one of the most talented metalcore writers in the business was living with our makeup artist. And so I got to meet him, and you know, right now music is in the doldrums, and musicians are really, really challenged. They're really having a rough go because they can't have shows and they can't do concerts. And I really wanted these bands, Wednesday 13, who's having his Halloween special tonight that I'm in. You know, he let us have one of his songs from the album Condolences, and you know, the music is great, and I wanted to make sure that the film had a musical authenticity. If she's going to be a DJ and she's metal,
Right.
It's got to be right.
Totally.
They killed. I mean,
Killed it.
knocked it out. Like you said, knocked it out of the park. So there were three kind of not very long but super deep monologues in it, which kind of showed the strength of the writing in the movie. Is this the first movie that these guys have put out, or is this the first TV show? Where do they come from, and do they have a history in filmmaking or anything like that?
They absolutely do. They're in their 20s. They're very young, but they're very culturally aware. They know music, movies, literature, art. I think they developed just an absolutely natural relationship with Barbara for that reason, because you can walk around in this theater and see that an artist lives here. You can see Greenville is, I get a Marfa vibe here. You guys don't have gas, but you don't have swamp gases,
Yeah.
but this is an artist community. This is filled with an artist vibe. And Eric and his brother Carson, they wanted to write something for a woman my age, and so they just went and did it. And yeah, gosh, I can't say enough about them. They were just so spot on with everything, and their first film debuted here. It's called
Really?
Long Lost.
Really?
And it stars Adam Wepler, who played Aaron in this film, and Nicholas Tucci, who we did lose this year. He was ill at the time that he was working with us, and he hadn't told anyone because he wanted to keep working. And
Was he the guy with the shaved head?
yes, yes. And he too is in Long Lost. And if you haven't seen Long Lost, it's a sexual psychological thriller that takes you, once again, to a million different places that you don't want to go necessarily.
Sounds like college.
It's so great. It's a
Watertown.
great film.
Gotta
Yeah.
check that out.
So, when was it done? And you've been pushing this thing around the country, like doing it like the hardcore, really rock band way. You know, where like we're not paying for views on Instagram here. We're catching flights to theaters and showing this thing. When did you start this, and how many cities have you been to? I mean, I know we're here tonight, but here tonight's not a single thing. You were here last night, and you were there. So when did you start doing this? How many cities have you hit, and how has it been? Have you had a blast?
I've had the time of my life, and it's really part of that technological innovation that we were talking about earlier. Our distributor, 1091, realized that, okay, we're doing pop-ups, we're doing drive-ins. The problem is when the weather starts to cool off, or if you've got rain, it kind of messes up your screening. 1091 started looking at the middle of the country at various mom and pop theaters, places like this that Barbara has, and limited chains, and started calling them on the phone and saying, hey, you want to stay in business? Why don't you try our movie? It's going to take a while before people feel confident going into theaters, but you're going to have to do it one audience at a time, one person at a time, a few people at a time.
It's got to happen.
It's got to happen. And when people see other people cracking the ice, they will go. You know, if you build it, they will come. And we began opening in single theaters and limited chains. We opened in 4 theaters. The Harkins Theater chain in Phoenix, Arizona, they had 4 theaters. They held us for 3 weeks. And for a small budget independent, that's unheard of. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
But it's the temperature of the times. Mm-hmm. And it's an incredible opportunity for an indie filmmaker to get his product into little individual communities one at a time. It's truly the way the movie moguls of the 20s and 30s sold their films, you know? One theater at a time. And we did an East Coast tour. We went to Providence, Rhode Island. We covered Connecticut. We went to Reading, Pennsylvania for a festival. We've had a lot of virtual film festivals. But watching something streaming, it's not the film experience. You want to be in a room. Even if you're socially distanced, you can hear other people in the room. And
Hear that popcorn hit the floor.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's the giggle in the back or the gasp in the back. It's
Definitely.
Yeah, it's the real thing. And I tell people all the time, if you're an artist, if you have a movie out, if you're a podcast, anything like that, you could pay for views online and you could comment or you could pay for Instagram. You could do all that. But, I mean, the formula was set in the 70s. It's shaking hands and kissing babies. Yes. Nothing beats it, because, I mean, everybody swipes and sees through. But when I look at you, or when you look at that, you know, all three of them, you know, a smoke show or two giants with green beards, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing beats that experience. They're going to remember me because I could have it 30-second conversation. But that even goes further when the person on the screen is in the theater, doesn't even have to talk to it's just in the theater. It's a big deal. They'll never forget that, you know? That's something that not many people get to do that ever.
Yeah,
you
did
know?
y'all think it was cool? Did y'all have a good time?
I wanted to ask you too, and that's another thing I wanted to ask. Like being in the movie and the film industry, like, how do you deal like with the critics? Do you rate? Do you like do something in the tour and like kind of want to see the reviews? Cause I know some people have a tendency like when we get a lot of emails and direct messages, we
people totally hate us.
block it out.
People totally hate you. I don't
Yeah,
Sometimes.
it's like it's like we totally block it out, and it's like, okay, we're not gonna change for you. That's basically what we tell anybody. You know, we're not changing for you. And I know, like, putting the movie out and doing everything, people gonna have their different outtakes on it. Like, do you wait? Do somebody like tell you like, hey, this is the review we got, or do you try to like go in personally and look at the reviews, or do you just try to block out of that and focus like on what's the next step ahead to get the movie out?
We have been super lucky with this movie. Our reviews have been fabulous.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess if you make good movies, you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about
I
it.
don't know if y'all read the reviews. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, a lot better reviews than Blood Fart Lake. Didn't get as good reviews as Blood Fart Lake.
I'll tell you what's unnerving is sitting in the audience. I was sitting with my guys here, my Houston boys, and I thought, oh God, I know they love Evil Dead. I know they love chainsaw films. I know that they love lots of blood and guts, and I know they're going to be bored. And oh, too much talking. Oh, it's slowed down. And I can't breathe sometimes because I'm so nervous. But our reviews have been amazing. It's really been great, and I kind of do block it off. I mean, now that I'm older, my ego isn't as invested as it was when I was in my 20s, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I want that red phone. And I like the fact when something was about to get deep.
Oh, the red phone.
Yeah, when that red
Totally.
phone was by itself, I'm like, I remember hitting those buttons at my grandmother's house and getting my ass
Yeah.
whooped. So I knew it was about to be a long, like, something finna happen on that other side of that phone. But to say that was, like, if people caught on to it, that was you talking to yourself as like, it's gonna be all right. And sometimes we have to do that to ourselves. We gotta, like, even right now, I have to get into my head personally and be like, hey, you know what? We all make mistakes. Everything gonna be all right.
It's like a third person reassurance.
And that kind of like blocked it in because it was just you on the phone, but that's basically inside of your head. And I thought that was pretty dope the way you did that.
Yeah.
And I saw you getting emotional, and I was like, oh man. I thought at first I was like, okay, she pulling her hair, and I'm like, no, she crying. I'm like, do I hold her? Do I get some tissue? But
Well,
you know, I'm
You
like,
all can.
I know, but I like the fact that was you talking to your inner self, like your youth telling. Like, and people always ask that question: what would your youth tell you right now? And like right now, what would
at
your
that
youth
one
say?
moment, you were your own mother.
Yeah.
You were your own daughter. You were a higher power talking to yourself.
Yeah.
You were a father talking to yourself.
Totally.
And we love the hardcore blood and gut. I mean, you know, our podcast is called Guts Podcast.
Yes. Call it for a
But
reason.
if it's dope, it's dope, man. If it's cool, if it's good, or if it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
In English.
But guts stands for something. Guts means getting under the skin.
Yeah.
So,
All day.
you know, you might look at these guys and think, oh my God, what the hell? But they're thoughtful guys, and they've got a philosophy for living that works.
Yes.
And their values are strong, and you know they've got their nephews here with them,
Plague
and their
doctor.
family, and that's
Nephew.
super appealing to me. And the young actress who was playing the younger version of me is Alice Kremmelberg. She is currently starring in Trial of the Chicago 7. She was a series regular on Orange is the New Black. she's this very soulful actress, and she got me from the moment we met. And we were shooting at a high school gymnasium, drenched in Duvetine, basically, and in the absolute dark. I mean, dark. You know, it was dark. And she is off stage, and all I can hear is her. It's very emotional.
So awesome.
Oh, man.
So awesome.
Well, it's so good to, I mean, for me, it's impressive when it is emotional, you know?
I'm getting emotion.
Yeah. You got to watch it around Space Bike.
I'm getting emotion.
He looks tough, but there's a couple buttons. Once you push him, it's like a waterfall, you know? But, I mean, it's impressive to me when it is emotional because it makes sense to me because the film was so good and there was put so much into it. And those monologues, that's the thing. I think you could tell by this whole situation. I really like the monologues, you know? And you could tell by the delivery how you got there is pretty obvious after the fact. You got there because you meant it, you know? Yeah, I just noticed. I watched the Chicago 7. I knew that chick looked familiar. Yeah.
Oh, you watched that. That's you, man.
So what's next for Caroline Williams? Are you buying? Are you doing your own films? Are you starring in something else? Are you just gonna push this thing till the wheels fall off? What's in the future?
Can we live with you?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Well, I am coming home.
I'm doing all of that stuff.
We bring our own air mattresses too. So
But
we
you know
get it.
what? I'm going to take my time. I truly am, because I feel like this is a real quality product, and I don't want to go backwards and do bad, cheap movies. And I've done some of those. I've done plenty of those. And I am content to sort of wait. I am cultivating some, some financial resources, and I'm going to look at scripts, and I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to try to get into a big hurry about anything.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah. You know
And
we
this
rocking
whole
with you
situation, I
all the
mean,
way.
I was excited to meet you before when we started messaging and texting and stuff like that. That kind of raised the bar, and after you leave here, I'm even more excited to see like what comes next. I'm super pumped for you. I'm really happy for you because you got a killer on your hands with this movie, and I think that's going to open up doors that you really, really deserve.
Thank you.
I'm super happy.
Totally
Congratulations.
deserve.
Yeah.
The guts way, baby.
Yeah.
The guts way, exactly.
Should we ask if they want to ask a question?
You want to take some questions?
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions for Caroline Williams?
Or any of the guts guys.
Or for...
I'm
I
a
wear size
Pisces.
12. My birthday's next week.
I'm a
Yeah.
Pisces, and I'm not afraid to cry.
I give you my P.O. box number.
We accept Venmo
I'm a
and
little
Cash
bit of a
App.
dreamer.
I wear a 2X shirt. I like long walks in the park and bubble baths.
I like the sound that rain makes when it hits the tin roof.
If you haven't seen their podcasts, I am begging you, just give yourself 15 minutes, because you won't turn it off.
Oh, no.
I love you.
Any questions from the audience? No? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, what's with the two guys dressed alike and the bird in the background?
It's twinning.
Twinning.
They call it twinning?
Twinning.
You know,
We woke up like this.
we do everything together. Basically, do y'all remember Beavis and Butthead? Yeah. So
Oh.
we're like Beavis and Butthead that watch horror movies every day.
Yeah.
And they listen to great music, and they know
Yes.
great bands.
Oh, we love all the music.
We do everything twinning. We're a little weird like that.
That's my Siamese twins, brother. We look alike though. So
Yeah,
you can
we're
tell.
twins.
I just got more hair than them.
That's
call
one
us the
answer.
twins.
The other answer is we sell merchandise, and this is a good way to showcase the merchandise.
Oh, yeah, that
so
too.
all the
to
stuff
make
we
people
make,
ask questions about
Yeah.
it, and it works.
So, we
it works
we
on
came
every
up
level.
with like this. All these designs we came up with, we actually used. Like one of my friends' 13-year-old daughter, she drew one of our designs for us. So we try, like my nephew's doing the pictures.
Keep it all
my
in the
nephew's
family.
back here. We try to like help family come together.
My 7-year-old
build
little
our brand.
girls and a bunch of we dress her up like a zombie, and
Yeah.
she's like the little creeper in the background and
Yes,
stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
this is our nephew, Lil Ali, but tonight he's plague doctor,
Yes,
fitting with the Rona.
And he has
He's
stayed in
he's-
character and been perfectly still
I
the
know
entire
he's standing
time.
still. I'm surprised because he cannot stand still.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's been wearing that since 11 this
He's been
morning.
wearing it all day long. He
The whole
woke up
trip.
and put that on
Halloween.
in Bastrop.
Oh, actually, this is the drawing. I don't know if you can see it, but
I love that.
Yeah,
it's we do backpacks, all kind of stuff.
a 13-year-old niece made all those
she
things, so
drew
we
that,
threw them
so
on
it's
and
pretty
started
dope.
selling shirts, and it works. I mean,
We were selling last night. We were in
Yes.
Bastrop. We
Yes.
were supposed to have a screening.
Yes.
we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that,
Woosah.
but we had about 125 people there,
Yes.
and it
Good
turned
barbecue,
into
too.
like a pre-Halloween
Yes.
party.
It was a little bit. It turned into a banger of a party. It was pretty.
Yeah, it did.
pretty
It was
dope.
fun.
Yeah.
It was great. People
it
didn't
was.
start going home until after 11.
Some
Yeah.
guy fell into the firewood bin. It was pretty great.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I missed that.
The guy with the gold teeth and the white eyes.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
Breezy.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh, that guy. Never
See
mind.
what you guys missed. Any more questions for anyone?
This is your chance to talk to the great Caroline Williams.
Or guts.
I'm about to start taking my clothes
I would
off.
like,
Can we live with you?
on behalf of Caroline and Guts Podcast, I would like to thank all of you
Yes.
for coming out and joining us with us.
Thank you so much.
to the
Thank you
theater
so,
for
so
having us.
much.
Be careful tonight. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time. So for Guts Podcast,
Zano the Vigi.
Space Viking.
low key as me and Caroline Williams. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara, for your beautiful theater.
Horror movies
Yeah.
are life.
It's not unusual.
Yeah, we do some horror goons. I'm Zano the Vigi. Your boy ATX, the Space Viking. Trying to figure shit out. This changed my life forever.